everybody just does real good, and that's something that we like to reward them. We have an award this morning for improved Christian behavior. This is a very, makes me very, very proud. And, we didn't have enough money to get everybody one, but this morning, this one goes to Salvador. All right. We're going to be mostly in the 10th chapter of Hebrews this morning. We're talking about looking at things a little bigger way. You know, God, He didn't just make us a little place to stay. He built this whole world, huge planet. Did we know how much land and stuff there are where nobody lives? He always gives us extra, more. And that's what we want to look at a little bit this morning. Have anybody ever heard this saying, give it all you got? When you do something, give it all you got? Yeah, well, that's what we kind of want to look at. You've never heard anybody say, give you advice like, just drag around, you know, don't put too much into it, you know, nobody looks at things that way. If you're on a basketball team or a baseball team, and you got a guy on there that's not hustling and may keep you from winning the game, what do you think about that? That's not good, is it? You need to give it all you've got. If you're going to be on the team, you need to give it all you've got. Have you ever noticed those athletes in the Olympic Games, how hard they try for a little thing you wear around your neck, you know? Of course, there are other things, but do those guys give it all they've got? Probably so, yeah. And God does that too, and He wants us to do that. And we have this thing called complacency that we can slide into. Like, it's easy to come in from work and hit that recliner, get that remote, glass of tea or whatever you want to drink, and just sit there and just watch, you know. But we're not put here to do that. We're supposed to, you know, we don't ever meet our potential if we do that, you know. If we get out and I'll make Miss Peggy go out and weed eat, see. I may pay for that later on. But that's what she did yesterday. She got out and weeded because she could do some more things. As a musician, I know being in a band, every musician has their own little style and their little groove that happens. And if you got a slacker there, your music's not going to have the energy it needs for you to keep your job, you know. And so I learned as a band leader that I can make more money with a smaller band. And so I would seek out musicians who had that little bit of extra drive, you know. They can, they just have that fire in their music that will make it, makes it easier for everybody. And because they're giving it all they've got, you know. If you got a guy over there sitting around that ain't playing his part or just playing lazy or not playing good, you know, it ruins it for everybody. And if you've ever been an employer and hired someone to work for you, you want them to give it everything they got, don't You want them, you want to get your money's worth. So that's something we need to concentrate on in our everyday life. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. Can somebody find that and read it? Well, thanks to my tabs, I found this. I need tabs.
Whatever you do, do well, for when you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom.
What was that?
I said, whatever you do, do well, for when you go to the grave, there will be no work
Yeah.
or planning
Yeah.
or knowledge or wisdom.
Yeah, when you leave here, it's over. The stuff you do, there's, it says neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, or wisdom. So, we're gonna have a waiting period there. But any of your parents will tell you this. Whatever you do, do it well. Do it right the first time, you won't have to do it again, So, we need to put that in our heart and keep that, make that part of us, part of our character. When somebody sees you, talks about you, they say, well, if they do something for you, it'll be done right. It'll be done right, it'll be done good. And it will work for you. If they say, well, they won't work hard, or they'll do a sloppy job, you'll have trouble later on in life. And you don't want that anyway. You don't want that on your reputation. I kind of practice that when I'm driving the van. If that van will run on Sunday morning or Wednesday, I'll be in it. Me or Miss Peggy want to be in it. And be consistent. Try to be consistent. Some of y'all work on the communion table. You do a good job with it. Just being in the choir, that's an obligation that you have, and you're here to help your church do music. That's doing what your hand finds to do. You know to do that. That's your job. You come do it. You participate. You're good. That's amazing, Just think big, good and big. In your everyday life, Romans 12:1.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Yeah. Present your body as a living sacrifice for Jesus. How do we do that? Well, one thing, we don't stick any drugs in it. We don't drink alcohol to the point of drunkenness. We don't eat too many hot dogs. When we have we kind of, we watch ourselves,
That's what we're having for lunch.
The Bible lets us do about anything, but we can't not to excess, you know. A little bit, use a little bit of, brains, I guess. Sacrificing is a way that God has of teaching His people how to be better. When you sacrifice something, you give it up or you share it. If you have a friend and you like your friend and you want to buy your friend a present or something, that's a sacrifice on your part, because you take that money that you could use for yourself and you give it to somebody else. That's a sacrifice. That's sharing. Without sacrificing, without sharing, there's no love. We have no love. We have to have that. That's what makes it up. And when we read about sacrifices in the Old Testament, animal sacrifices, it says kill a sheep, kill a cattle of some kind, or a dove or thing. That's not really impressive. When you look at some of the other ceremonial things that they did, the sacrifice was supposed to be the firstborn, without blemish, the best you have. You wouldn't give somebody that you really cared about something that was broke, would you? You wouldn't give them something that was ugly. You know, you give them something good, something that they like, something you're proud of. And the Old Testament heroes, when they sacrificed, I mean, they made a show of them. You know, when God, like I said, when He built this world, He built a fine, big plan. And way bigger and more than we need. Way bigger and more than we need. And He wants our sacrificing to be that way towards Him. In 2 Samuel 24:24, Solomon, no, that's in Kings. Well, I'm confused now. Anyway, I think this is when David dedicated no, when Solomon dedicated the temple to the Lord, they killed 22,000 cattle and 120,000 sheep that day. Now that's because he wanted, of course, Solomon was rich, you know, and he owned everything. But did you ever think about that as a sacrifice? What a big deal that is. They was killing livestock, hundreds of priests killing livestock, and that's just the way they did. They thought big, you know, they thought big. And Josephus said that during the reign of Nero, a few years after Jesus was here, one time at the Passover, they slaughtered 256,000 lambs for 500 for the Passover feast. That's big. That's thinking big, ain't it? That's thinking big. But think who we're sacrificing for. God is a big deal. He's a huge deal, and He is. He likes a little flash every once in a while. If you think about some of the Old Testament ceremonies they had, you know, they had a lot of stuff like that. But when you're thinking about God, make sure you're thinking about a big God. He's not like us. We're little. He's big. And so, make him important. Make him the most important thing in your life. Because he has to be. That's the way he wants it. And he has a way of getting what he wants. And he deserves it. And just sometimes it's easy to get pulled away and into and take the easy way a lot of times. It's easy to get in that recliner when you get home. I'm guilty too. So, just remember how big he is. If you can remember how big God is, you won't have near as much trouble doing what he asks you to do. You won't have as much trouble making him important, making him big. It'll just become a natural thing. It'll be a natural habit for you. You get yourself in a habit of anything, it's just better because you don't have to think about it much. When it comes time for lunch, where do you go? To the table. Yeah. So that's a habit. I mean, we have to eat, but that's a habit. We eat at the same time pretty much every day. So make your love for God a habit. Just make a habit of it. Go. Make sure you're in church, make sure you're praying, make sure that you're conducting yourself like Christians, and everything is going to be, you're going to have a big life. The Bible says that God is going to bless us. He blesses us and he will take care of you. And you're going to need it here on this world because the devil's in charge of this world, and he's after you. He is after you continuously. The devil's not lazy. He's on the job all the time. So we need the protection that we get from having a close relationship with God. Okay, well that's what I've got to say this morning. I hope that I've said something that will help. Next week, Josh Davis will be here, and then it's Easter, and Easter after that. 21st, is the 21st Easter? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we don't want to forget that. That's a big church day, The Bible doesn't give us any instructions to have a special service or anything, but we can put it in our hearts, that's the day that most Christians set aside to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Without the resurrection, we wouldn't need to be here, So that's pretty awesome. Is everybody ready to go to heaven? I am too. Without the resurrection, we wouldn't be able to do that. So it's a very important day. So y'all, be thinking about that. It's a big day. Very big. Very big. Okay, let's sing another song here.